It was pretty much immediate changes within like literally 5 days of implementing.
Those two pictures are pretty fucking wild.
Pretty wild.
What were these immediate 5-day changes? I assume it was trend.
I'd been doing low carbs since I was 13. My mom got into it for weight loss purposes, and my brothers tagged along. They were playing rugby and wrestling as well, which are obviously two sports that would also benefit from carbohydrates.
Go on.
Throughout the years, I just slowly got more and more strict with it, and then eventually progressed to carnivore just out of simplicity's sake. It was easiest to not have to cook my asparagus, zucchini, vegetables, the devil's
foods. So you're 20 years old now.
I am.
And you've lifted weights for, I guess, 7 years at this point?
Yeah, 6 to 7 years.
You were eating roughly how much protein and fat per day?
I was having probably 225 to 240 fat and protein 1-to-1.
Wow.
The first quarter of 2021 was when I kind of hit a plateau. I was also extremely lean at that point. I started to get some twinges. I was getting a little bit stringy and just flat and depleted. That was after almost 2 years, essentially, of carnivore. So it wasn't
being lean.
I was like, I just felt off. I didn't feel 100%.
Did you feel that a part of you being lean was distinctly for the gram, so to speak?
A lot of people have asked me that. I don't think so, to be honest, because a lot of people on social media would tell me you don't need to be this lean. You'd look better with 10 to 12% body fat or whatever it is. I was training a lot, twice a day, 6-7 times a week. I wouldn't take a lot of rest days, and I'd be just trying to push loads heavy all the time. And there was no sort of progression with regards to my training, so I wasn't setting up a mesocycle to actually have an accumulation phase. It was just, let me see if I can PR this week, and that's, by the end of that, it became a guessing game of whether or not I was gonna get hurt.
Did you deload ever during this time?
No. Right, I took my first deload in like 3 years, but like just the past few weeks. So I was at a breaking point in a sense where I was just like willing to try whatever at that point.
It's a lot of trust to have someone coach you.
For sure. Because I knew your guys' background, I was pretty much ready to hand it over, and I was pretty confident in what Jared was doing. So, and then because it was pretty much immediate changes within like literally 5 days of implementing.
Those two pictures are pretty fucking wild.
Pretty wild.
No comparison.
So I was pretty confident after that point.
What were these immediate 5-day changes? I assume it was trenbolone, but I just learned from TikTok comments.
Oh yeah. Immediately I was just more full, so I wasn't as stringy, and I noticed my joints weren't as terrible. Jared wanted to slowly reintroduce carbs, so just rice and sweet potato.
Okay.
And I found my digestion's like perfect with those, so I've just continued to increase and implement those. On top of that, we added in pre, post, and intra carbs.
We put in an intra shake, and basically the Gatorade was fine with you. A lot of times it's not with some people, so he just kept using Gatorade, I think.
You went from roughly less than 10 grams of carbs a day, whatever's in the glycogen of the dead animal, and then to 275.
I dropped 4 pounds.
After calorie equated.
Calorie equated. He told me
no change in calories, but you added carbs, removed fats and proteins.
Yes.
And you lost weight.
Yeah.
That's odd.
He was like, you're probably gonna go up like 10 pounds. You could see a 10-pound jump with glycogen stores, all that different stuff. And I'm like, Jared, I lost 4 pounds. So it was cool to see the changes. And then I just continued filling out more and more. So it was essentially just getting leaner and more full. And now we're just continuing to increase. So it was about every 2 weeks we added in 10 grams of carbs per meal.
About 50 per day. So.
50 per day added, okay. Tristyn was so overreached, maybe even overtrained, with insufficient recovery and too much training, no periodization, and carbohydrates specifically, and enough calories also, have this huge parasympathetic response to your nervous system where they put you into recovery mode.
Right.
Which is, if you're overreached and you don't have those carbs in, you're kind of in permanent mini fight or flight mode, ultra high stress mode. And that ultra high stress mode is something that tends to, in many people, store a lot of body water.
Right.
But it's not the fun kind of body water. It's under the skin body water. It's not in your muscles, which is why you look stringy. So it's something Jared and I have been through a bunch. But when he got to you, we didn't know that that was your state. Because there's a lot of people that do carnivore. They're at equilibrium. They're quite fine. You intro carbs, and a lot of times carbs bring so much body water that they blow up.
Right.
But for you, you were so overreached and so fight or flight, basically. You ended up, carbs had this super calming effect.
For sure.
And the whoosh water effect. And all of a sudden, because in the first 5 days, you lost like 5 pounds or something like that. So that's probably our best hypothesis to what happened. Training now with carbs.
My training feels good.
Go, go, go.
Come on. Up and back, go. Go, God, go. Yes.
I've noticed the biggest difference in my pumps being way better. My strength is going up. I'm able to control and brace a lot better in heavy movements and compound movements, I find. So it's just been progressively getting better and better. I do notice I'm getting more sore. So that was like one of the first things that, or one of the main things that a lot of carnivore influencers or advocates preach is I don't get sore. I'm always alert. And it's like these two things that are supposedly seem good, right?
Yes,
and it's not necessarily a negative thing. I was just speaking
Sore in the belly of the muscle.
Yes.
And in a way that recovers for your next workout.
For sure, yes.
Very interesting. We've tended to notice that people who eat a hypercaloric diet for the first time, add in calories, their joints start to feel great, but their muscles get really sore during training. But then, so it's kind of like if you're carnivore, you get a little sore and then you get a little not sore between workouts. When you're using carbs, you get really sore and then you really quickly heal and then it's time to hit it again. This seems to line up with sports science of stimulus, recovery, adaptation, repeat.
Yeah. Go. Slow.
Let me tell you guys about the RP Hypertrophy app. With over 28 preset programs already in the app, you can choose to make your own, you can modify an existing program, or you can just run the programs exactly as they were written by me personally. This app programs everything for you. Exercises, weights, sets, reps, frequency, the whole thing. After every single workout on every single week, the app adjusts to your unique parameters with every single input. We have over 250 exercises in the app with detailed video tutorial links to every single one. You never have to be confused about technique or form ever again. I'm guessing right now you're pretty interested in the app? Download the RP Hypertrophy app today. Where is your journey taking you next?
It's just gonna be continuing to mass. I'm honestly just following the plan. Keep increasing food and hopefully just keep trying to get the weight up, actually moving.
He's clearly excessively lean still, and I'm trying to get it moving pretty quick here. I would like to see about 10 pounds on in the block, which would be multiple mesocycles of massing.
That's in the next basically 4 months.
Right.
It's totally cool to be carnivore, but you might want to try some carbohydrates. Jared, tell us about that and maybe tell us how the average person could transition to a higher carb diet.
If you were just like gonna wake up, you're gin pop, you're like, carnivore is really kicking my ass, and you're gonna eat like a muffin, go to work, sit around, eat some more carbs, and like you're implementing carbohydrates that way, it might lead you into some issues where you're getting tired, really tired around those meals. I think what Tristyn did was actually very intelligent because he went from already having gone to eating some fruits and veggies around his training, which would be the least likely time that you would experience this lethargy. So if you're somebody who is training like 3 times a week, maybe start on those days where you're putting in some carbohydrates like Tristyn did, you're putting in like 100 grams carbs around the training session. I ease them into that kind of coming from carnivore to carbohydrate-based diet.
When you switch from using mostly ketones to mostly glucose, that parasympathetic anti-fight or flight response, because remember, you have a mild fight or flight response all the time on low carb, that's what's keeping you sharp. It's that animal survival instinct of technically mini starvation, but just hang in there. Tristyn, it's awesome to have you on the team. #TeamRP.
Yes, sir.
You are technically now my adopted grandson, and I couldn't be more proud. See you guys next time.